Hello and welcome to the Games of Foot, where once again I am playing Sherlock Holmes video games, talking about Sherlock Holmes information and game design. And we are at part three, part four, something like that, of Sherlock Holmes Nemesis, which is the game of Sherlock Holmes versus Arsène Lupin by Frogwares from around 2008. I forgot to look up the date, but. Um, we are, as far as I can tell, about halfway through the game, so let's go ahead and dive back into it. So we stopped. We had just defeated, or at least found aware of two different uh, things that Arsène Lupin was supposed to steal. We just got a notification about a third one, and get ready to go to the bookstore, I believe, and do research. Hey, Ellie, how you doing? I'm sorry you're going to go to bed. But as always, these will be up on Twitch and on YouTube, so you can catch up. Okay, just kind of reorienting myself here. Alright. Just kind of a refresher, we did get this poem, which has been kind of Arsène Lupin's default mode. With no hope of return, the six have flown. What to do, I hear you groan. I will avenge the harm against my nation, the price steep for restitution. As history proves, the sublime emperor displayed to the whole world our splendor. He conquered the land from east to west. The treasures he unearthed, all were impressed. From the center of the earth they came, 1,000 years old, even 1,000 again. It was called a treaty, but was merely a plot for you to steal what was yours to take not. The name you search for is a city, that of Catherine, a saint very pretty. She was the mom not only of Raphael, but Solario, Crivelli, and Lochner as well. England still retains this plunder, a brash display. Is it any wonder? The treasure is mine for the taking. I will succeed or die trying. Covered in riddles, the object I am after. It turned a young Frenchman into a master. You thought it was one of yours running the show, who deserved to win the prize, but no. It is with our man, not your Mr. Young, to whom we say you are a champ, a lion. Yeah, Infinite G, there definitely have been a lot of poems. And it's funny because like, they don't always rhyme or the meter's off, and I don't know if that's because it was translated from French or the writers just are bad at poetry. Who knows? But anyway, it does seem like the
I have no reason to go there.
Okay, maybe the bookstore is not the place to go. I usually write down the next thing we're supposed to do, but I seem to have forgotten to do that. So let me take a quick peek. I need to go to the pub. Okay.
I have no reason to go there.
Oh, I'm really confused. Alright. Just leave and see what happens. I think I've mentioned before, but this chunk of Baker Street is actually used quite a bit in all of the games. So I'm pretty familiar at this point with this.
I have no reason to go there.
Stretch.
I have no reason to go there.
That's going to be blocked off. Pretty sure this is all going to be reasons why you can't go anywhere.
I have no reason to go there.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's, I guess go back.
I have no reason to go there.
There's a victory. Okay, this is gonna be really fun.
I have no reason to go there.
Not the British Museum.
I have no reason to go there.
That's National Gallery. Okay, sure.
Hello, gentlemen. Judging by the calm, our little ploy regarding the mildew has worked.
Indeed. As long as it doesn't work beyond our expectations, and we will get our visitors back when we reopen. So, have you found the Fighting Temeraire?
I must confess not, but we are making progress on the case. Farewell, gentlemen.
Do you have another clue, Mr. Holmes?
I'm not talking to you, I'm talking to him. Okay.
I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there.
That's one of the things about older
I have no reason to go there.
video games.
I have no reason to go
Is that
there.
a lot of times you're
I have no reason to
just
go
clicking
there.
on stuff and seeing where to go next.
I have no reason to go there.
Luckily, at least, unlike if you remember with the serrated scalpel, it let me go everywhere if I had no reason to go there. So at least this game is saving me the trouble of just saying, no, you don't have reason to go there.
I have no reason. I have no. I have.
So, okay. We have something to do here, I guess. Good. By the way, I don't know if you know, but I have no reason to go there. Okay. So yeah, this is really obtuse. Apparently there are 4 paintings of St. Catherine mentions in the gallery. Wow, this is going to be interesting. Okay.
The painter's father, Albrecht Dürer. He's probably seen happier days. Hans Holbein the Younger died of the plague in London in 1543. His works are on loan to the museum.
Thanks, guys in chat, for letting me know that I had no reason to go there. I really appreciate that. That's very helpful to me in ways I cannot possibly express, and therefore won't. Okay, history progress slide members played the whole world of splendor. He conquered a land from east to west. Treasure and are impressed with the Cloud Treaty, merely applaud of Catherine. Okay, so Raphael, Solario, Crivelli, and Lochner. Alright, so that's
A Grenache. Grenache's style has such ambience, he depicted well the total lack of fantasy. Portrait of a Woman by Lucas Grenache the Elder, 1472 to 1553. Official painter of the Saxony court.
So this is probably all Grenache.
St. Paul on Malta by Adam Elsheimer, 1578 to 1610.
Yeah, it's the paintings do look weirdly flat because if you notice, the frames do have depth, but the pictures don't. So it does look a little odd.
The Ambassadors, 1533 by Hans Holbein the Younger. In the foreground, we can see a distorted skull, a symbol of mortality.
Oh, I actually never knew that. That's a skull. Neat, okay. I'm learning about art history here.
The Virgin and Child by Albrecht Dürer, 1471 to 1528. Painter, mathematician, and foremost, an engraver, a virtuoso of the Buren. Ooh, Judith in the Tent of Holofernes by Johann Lis, 1595 to 1631. What will she do with that head?
What will she do with that head? Okay, let me double check these real quick. I'm gonna... Normally I want to play all the audio for you guys, but I'm gonna kind of skip because we have a lot of these to go through.
St. Catherine of Alexandria, in good company, painted around 1450 by Stefan Lochner, a hand shutter of an altarpiece presented in 1863 by Queen Victoria at the Prince Consort's wish.
Okay, well, then I hit one right away. So,
Charity by Lucan Cranach the Elder.
okay. So now we're just gonna kind
Tobias and the Archangel Raphael by Adam Elsheimer. A work that just exudes.
of Grenache,
Canvas by Adam Elsheimer.
Alzheimer.
There's no inscription here. I'll speak to the director, perhaps.
Okay, let's double check that.
Do you have another clue, Mr. Holmes?
Okay, then never mind. That's something else that mildly irritates me is when a game gives you a directive like that. It's like, hey, I shocked the director about that, and you do and nothing happens. It sets up a bad loop, I think.
A lovely painting by Murillo. Impressive.
Murillo, I think we're in
The
Murillo
Lamentation of the Dead Christ. This canvas by Tiziano Vicelio. An Apostle, Giuseppe de Ribera. The Toilet of Venus by Diego Velázquez. A Peasant Boy Leaning on a Sill by Christ Driving the Traders from the Christ Healing the Paralytic at the Pool of Bethesda. Jacob with a Flock of Laban. The Vendramin family venerating a relic of the true cross.
This is
La
Murillo's
Tela
area.
Real.
Murillo was one of the people that was mentioned. Hey, Dan, no worries, it'll be late. Because I have not been on
A portrait, Madame
social media as much, so I didn't
Monsieur
make the
de
announcements
Norvins.
like I usually do.
The Billet Doux by Françoise Boucher. A Beautiful Landscape by Boucher. The Battle of Genappe by Horace Vernet.
I'm pretty sure that these are Catherine. Can I go back to the toilet of Venice? Sure I can. Toilet of Venice, there you go. And while we're doing that,
The Toilet of Venus by Diego Velázquez, who was considered, along with Francisco Goya and El Greco, as one of the greatest artists in all of Spanish history.
and Yudian, yeah, basically, the poem mentions Catherine, and that she sat for 4 different painters, so we have to kind of find those.
Closed.
Okay, cool, thanks. Yeah, I think, for a while, especially when things were kind of
Portrait of a Woman by Perona.
a little up in the air, I was trying to keep people notified of the schedule, but now I'm keeping this pretty regularly. Probably not going to make announcements every week.
Queen Charlotte, painted by...
Okay. I am gonna... Wait, I know what I have to do. It's pretty clear what we have to do. I'm just gonna do it. Click on St. Catherine of Barbara. Second to the left of the entryway by the next gallery.
St. Catherine of Alexandria by Raphael, painted around 1507, one of the greatest Italian painters and architects of the High Renaissance.
Okay. And then Solario is right of the wood door.
St. Catherine of Alexandria by Antonio de Solario in 1514, originally part of a triptych.
Next is click on the small painting of St. Catherine by Crovelli, which is third right of the entryway to the next gallery. Is that right?
Portrait of a boy holding a rose. St. Catherine of Alexandria, painted by Carlo Crivelli, bought as part of the Prince Anatole Demidov collection in 1868.
Then jump to the German gallery. Click on the seconds to the last on the south wall. facing south. A compass. Let's see. Southwest on the south wall. I think I already clicked on that.
St. Catherine of Alexandria, in good company, painted around 1450 by Stefan Lochner, a hand shutter of an altarpiece presented in 1863 by Queen Victoria at the Prince Consort's wish.
So it says, the walkthrough says, Holmes should tell us to go back. But Holmes
Do you have another clue?
Let's see if I can go back.
I have no reason to go there.
Alright. Are the Catherines better realized? I think that is part of it. If you look at this one, it's in pretty good shape, and then this one is not. Yeah, I think they made sure that the appropriate pictures were of the right quality. See again, this one is, you know, it's smaller. You're right up to it's in really good shape. This one very badly pixelated. But again, a lot of these paintings in here, so you've got to keep track of them all. Oh, hey, what's this? I actually need a mouse wheel, and looks like, that's interesting. Okay. I'm wondering if I have to click
St. Catherine of Alexandria.
Click on them with the poem.
St. Catherine of Alexandria, painted by Carlo.
I didn't realize the poem was an item.
St. Catherine of Alexandria.
It goes right into the inventory. Hang on. Then that one. That one.
St. Catherine of Alexandria.
No, not with the poem. That's interesting. So it's a follow to do here, growing avenge the harmonization, color tree, even their plots. Model fully Raphael, Botslario, Crivelli, and Lochner.
St. Catherine of Alexandria.
That's Lochner.
St. Catherine of Alexandria by Raphael.
That's Raphael. Leonardo.
St. Catherine of Alexandria.
Botslario.
St. Catherine of Alexandria,
Crivelli.
painted by Carlo Crivelli.
Okay. For horror paintings in over the gallery. Click on, click on, click on. Holmes says to go back to Baker Street. Okay, well, I'm gonna keep poking around, but if y'all want to try to find a different walkthrough, figure out what's trigger. This is, so I haven't really talked about this much, as you guys are looking around. Frogware's games are buggy and weird. They're not, well, home selected, that's irritating, okay. Thank you, Jay. There's always these little kind of oddities in them. And it's not Bethesda bad by any stretch of the imagination, but I mean, there's always just some kind of awkwardness and the like.
Do you have another clue, Mr. Holmes?
As for the investigation, I have the names of 4 artists who may have paintings on exhibit here.
I am feeling weary. and out of sorts after all of the commotion,
You and me both, buddy.
and I am not able to help you any further. The museum, however, is all yours.
Thank you.
No, I gotta do it again. Okay.
Farewell, gentlemen.
Fine. Once you know where they're at now.
Here's what I've been looking for.
Yeah, see now, they're gonna pop
Here's
right
what
up.
I've been looking for.
Jesus. Oh, hold on. Okay, that's
It's St. Catherine of Alexandria by Crivelli.
Is there anything else here? No.
It's St. Catherine of Alexandria by Crivelli.
Mr. Trigger, I know. Welcome to... Well, to be fair, I think it's still adventure game design. But...
Here is St. Catherine of Alexandria.
see if there's anything else here. Nope. Okay. Third thing.
Here's what I've been looking for.
And again, it's like the game is trying to be helpful. But do you have a clue?
And here's St.
Holmes?
Catherine of Alexandria by
It does
Raphael.
not say click on the document the one time that a document is an item you can use when every other time it's gone into your casebook. It's just Frogwares, you drive me spare. Okay, where's the... Alright. Figure this out. Right, okay, here we are.
Here's what I've been looking for.
Click on it.
Look, a Lochner entitled St. Catherine of Alexandria. There, I've made note of the 4 paintings indicated in Lupin's poem. I shall return to Watson and we'll put our heads together.
Yes, we shall. Oh, I have to leave this first. Okay. Slate UI. Bump there. Out of London. West. 221B.
Holmes has left at last. I'm worn out, but I have no choice. I must take advantage of his absence by recovering his Legion of Honor. I'll make haste to the bank and then attempt to find the crooks to whom I pawned it. There, I've been able to gather a sufficient sum of money. Now to the Golden Lion.
I just have money. Gather money for reasons. I found it on the street. I mugged somebody. Who fucking knows. Watson's desperate. He's a dangerous man. Maybe he got it from betting on turtles.
Couldn't pay attention.
Shh. I'm a secret wall with ears. Shh.
Tell me, my good man, do you remember me? Last night I was in the next room where I pawned an object that I have come to buy back. Where can I find those concerned?
Just where do you think you are? In the Duchess's front parlour? If there ain't nobody, it's 'cause there ain't nobody, and I don't know no more than that. We don't ask questions here, we drink and shut it.
It's a scandal. You'll hear from me, Mr.
You'll hear from me again. Yes, I'm assuming he also makes money from his publishing and from being a doctor.
Closed.
But it's funnier for me to think that
I have nothing to gain from this miserable character.
Watson just finds money on the street. Alright, well, I guess we're done here.
Why, Doctor, what lucky happenstance. Have you recovered from last night's temper?
Oh, hello there. It's lucky that I have found you here. I've collected the amount necessary to buy back the medal that I pawned yesterday. You look like someone who might know the ruffians who were holding the bookseller. Do you know where I could find them?
You aren't serious, I hope. I don't know them any better than you. Earlier in the evening, I had them round in hopes of gleaning a few morsels, but that's all. I had thought that you, like me, had bluffed, and that your trinket wasn't worth a nicker. By this time, it has certainly been melted and sold as bullion. At best, it's still in the window of a pawnbroker's.
What are you telling me? You're going to tell me where I can find these rogues and the medal. Otherwise, you'll find yourself in the thick of it, because I've got friends in high places. I do.
Why, Doctor, you're acting like a common thug. I, who have done everything possible for you.
You must excuse me. I do apologize. How could you know? I seem to have lost my usual aplomb. This case is dragging on, and to top it all off, I have lost my friend's medal.
Don't worry, I've seen worse. As for your head, it's sleep that you need. Your ideas will be much sharper after a rest.
Impossible. My friend will be returning any moment, and then we'll end up I don't know where in London in order to stop... but I've said too much. The men who have the medal, is there any way to find them?
Maybe, but I'll have to call in a few favours, and that takes time. And money.
I have 100 guineas. Will that suffice?
That should do the trick, but I can't guarantee anything. In any case, I'll do all that I can, I promise you, to help retrieve the medal.
Thank you very much.
I'll get to it immediately, but don't forget that you owe me one. Or 3, rather.
Give him 100 guineas. 100.
Watson, I thought I'd be dragging you out of bed.
I was summoned to visit a patient.
Obviously a hypochondriac.
Eh? Yes. How did you know?
Otherwise, you would have taken your medical bag along.
Yes. By Jove, you are clever.
As for the case at hand, which must be our priority, we must find to which treaty is referred in the latest message from Lupin. I just came from the National Gallery, and I think we have all of the elements necessary to formulate an answer. What do you think, Watson?
Well, considering it's St. Catherine of Alexandria...
The Treaty of Alexandria. Exactly, Watson.
Would it not be the one following our victory over Napoleon Bonaparte?
Also true.
Undoubtedly, Watson, but we need details. I'll go see Barnes. His store wasn't open when I arrived, but it should be now. Rest for a while, and I'll be back soon.
With pleasure, Holmes.
Yes, now we're actually about where the bookstore, which is why I got confused previously. But yes, Yonan mentioned this a little bit in the chat, but video games are complicated to make, and particularly at this stage with Frogwares, I think they only had it was less than 10 people at this time making games, so that's a lot of things to kind of cover. And so, I mean, when I criticize these things, it's not to criticize the team per se. It is to recognize that these games do have their own quirks. I wouldn't own 8 or 9 of them if I didn't love them. But I mean, one of the things that it does frustrate me as a designer is what Yuda mentions is kind of the language that you use when you're making a game. If you train the player to act a certain way, and that thing continues to act a certain way, if there's a change, you have to broadcast to the player that something has changed or why it's changed. And sometimes that can be hard. You may think you've broadcast it, particularly in a mystery, like for a first-person shooter or for a platformer. You could be very blunt with your broadcasting because really what you're trying to do is to get them to do, to do something that's very, very obvious. For a mystery, you want the player to kind of figure things out. So there's this tendency to either be too subtle, and therefore the player misses what you're trying to say, or you're being too obvious and it stops feeling like a mystery, feels like you're just kind of being dragged along. Combined with the fact that people think and approach problems in different ways, you may put something that the one test group finds perfectly normal, another test group just completely misses. So it's a challenge, particularly with mysteries. It's very, very hard to do. Yeah, and G, I forgot about that, but you're right. The Sherlock Holmes games, all these games tend to go on sale pretty frequently. But the summer sale is usually a great time. They get them really, really cheap. And it looks like in the chat right now they're 90% off. So I definitely recommend picking some of these up. If you want to play, I mean, obviously games I've already played, go for it. If you want to play something in this era that's not this game, I still do recommend Awakening. I think is the best of this three. If you're just looking for a good Sherlock Holmes game, it's relatively recent and it's good quality. It's not going to spoil you too much for upcoming games. I recommend The Testament of Sherlock Holmes. That's the latest. It's actually second to the last game that was made. In the last three games, two of them do have a lot of connectivity in plot, but Testament actually is a prequel to the earlier game, so it's relatively self-contained, and it gives you a good sense of what Frogware's style in the past 5 years, and it's a lot better. I mentioned there's a lot of quirks in these games, but by the time you get to Testament and Crimes and Punishment and Devil's Daughter, all of those, they've really got the formula down pretty well. So yeah, if you're gonna pick up one of those games for cheap, definitely try to snag. If you had to pick one, I would say Testament of Sherlock Holmes is probably a good one to see if you really enjoy these kinds of games, and then you can work backwards from there or forwards if you want.
Oh, hello, Mr. Holmes. What can I do for you?
Good day, Barnes. I'm looking for a book that deals with English victories and the subsequent treaties, the Treaty of Alexandria in particular.
You'll have to excuse me, but I am already run off my feet this morning as I need to relabel some of the books. I'll leave you to look for yourself. There must be something in the history shelf near the back.
Why are you even here? I mean, I don't even need you anymore. I can do this all myself. One thing that's interesting is the later versions get rid of the bookstore entirely. Holmes just has his own files that you can then search. This whole going back and forth to the bookseller thing is actually missing from some of the later games, which makes sense. I mean, this gag starts to run thin. Again, there's a whole series of talking to the bookseller in The Awakening as well. And yeah, this is Barnes. Barnes is the one that's in The Awakening. He's more explicitly being corrupted. On this game, it's kind of implied in case you don't play the other game, but something's weird, something's off with him. Treaty History, a history of treatises by Tret T. Tretiau, which is an amazing title. Symbol of the English superiority over this part of the African continent. The Treaty of Alexandria was signed in 1801 after the defeat of the French forces under General Minel and the subsequent surrender. According to Article 16 of the treaty, the English imposed delivery of antiquities held in the city of Alexandria. The majority of these pieces have been, perhaps inappropriately, moved from Cairo to Alexandria in order to keep them secure. Indeed, at the instigation of Napoleon, the Cairo Institute was created with a number of savants of renown. The most beautiful pieces of Egyptian antiques have been found during the French campaign were in the center of their studies. However, the advance of English forces didn't leave the scholars much time to study the ancient Egyptian treasures, and it was decided that the most precious one would be sent to Alexandria. This selection proved quite beneficial to the crown of England, who laid claim, as previously stated, to all the antiquities present in Alexandria, but unanimously left all the remainders in Cairo to France. It should be noted that the Rosetta Stone, studied by the French scholar Champion, unlocked the key to understanding hieroglyphics, was part of the plunder and was sent to England on the HMS L'Egyptine the next year. This stone can now be seen in the British Museum.
I found it, Barnes. I'll take it.
Fine, Mr. Holmes. You'll settle up later? You see, it's quite a rare book. Quite dear, too.
Yeah, and as Jay kind of points out, there's England and France stole a lot of shit from a lot of countries. So this is essentially just straight up history. And as of a decade ago, at least, the Rosetta Stone's still in England because I went to go see it when I went to the British Museum. So I'm gonna guess. Actually, let me leave first. Make sure I'm not triggering anything. Talk to him
I
first.
found it, Barnes. I'll take it.
Fine, Mr. Holmes.
Yeah, it's a rare book. They're all rare books. They're all bloody rare books. Okay, let's go back to Baker Street.
I have no reason to go there.
Okay, so I'm going to British Museum. I think I saw it south? No. I think think I'd be a little better with.
Let's head to Baker Street.
I did that. Oh, hello, Pepper.
Day, Mr. Holmes.
Good day, Ruffles.
I've got a message for you, I have. Direct from the yard. I'm supposed to bring you to Inspector Lestrade quick as can be. There's going to be a right important meeting, there is. The PM himself will be there.
For once, Lestrade is ahead of the game. Listen, Ruffles, in order to save some precious time, will you bring a message to the inspector? Tell him to meet me here with as much of the force as he can muster, but he must be discreet. Do you understand?
Right, Mr. Holmes. I'll be off, I will.
Thank you. Let's head to Baker Street.
I do want to mention that there's a really obscure joke in there. The constable's name is Ruffles, but there actually is another contemporaneous thief, literary thief, British one named Raffles. And Raffles was written right after the Lupin story started, and that's written by a cousin of Conan Doyle. So that was probably a pun on Raffles. And actually, it's funny because, like, you would think, historically speaking, especially because Raffles is a character written by someone who's related to Doyle, that there would have been more of the Raffles Holmes kind of animosity. But no, it actually is Lupin, all because the original writer was just a dirty IP thief. Wait, Watson up. Do that. Yep.
Up, Watson. It's time.
The wave! No! It will engulf me! The tentacles! Ah!
Come, my friend. That's all finished and behind us. Compose yourself. We have an appointment in half an hour with the Prime Minister.
I'm still dreaming. The Prime Minister.
In a way, I wish I had played this game before I started streaming it, because I did not realize how many references to The Awakening. I thought they were very subtle. I thought there were only a couple of them, but it turns out this is actually pretty heavily entwined with The Awakening. It's not spoiling too much. I'm trying to keep details about it, because again, like, the whole selling point of the game is Sherlock Holmes vs. Cthulhu, so Cthulhu's in it, not really a spoiler. It's on the back of the package. Just there.
I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there. I have no reason to go there.
Where am I going again? England, St. Paul's Cathedral. Not the tower. We've been to the tower. We're done with the tower. British Museum, Trafalgar Square.
I have no reason to go there.
What of Justice?
I have no reason to go there.
Here's our next destination, Watson. The British Museum. Come on now, make haste. We're ahead of the game at the moment, and we want to remain that way.
How do you do, Prime Minister? Lestrade.
Mr. Holmes, despite the intelligence and the perspicacity far above the norm that all of England is bestowing you, I assure you that you are 1,000 leagues from imagining to what point I am, let's say, annoyed. Inspector Lestrade here will only give one answer to all of my questions. Ask Sherlock Holmes. So, Mr. Holmes, where are we?
A few days ago, July 14th to be exact, we received a letter from the ubiquitous Arsène Lupin. It is here for your perusal.
Is this in earnest?
The facts concur. We are in our third day, and he has honoured all of his engagements to date.
Even in recent history, this type of preposterousness would have led to war, do you know? Well, Mr. Holmes, all of this is too grievous to be left in the hands of an unofficial detective, no matter what his talents are. From here on, you will be working with Inspector Lestrade. You will be under his authority, and he will report to my cabinet. I am going to call a council of war, and I want you to know that no matter who you are, all contact with the press is categorically forbidden and will be punished in exemplary fashion. Gentlemen, these damn French, I should send in the fleet.
My dear Lestrade, time is pressing. I don't see anyone here about. Is the museum closed?
No, but as there is work underway, and most of the galleries are closed, there isn't a crowd.
That's fortunate. Lestrade, listen well. Clear the museum of all visitors and workmen, block the entrance, and post some men around the building. No one is allowed to enter the British Museum from this point on. As for us, Watson, let us assure ourselves that Lupin's next target is still within these walls.
Wait, I have a map of the British Museum that the guard gave me. It could be of some use.
Okay. A couple of things from chat. First of all, as Jay points out, this would have been Prime Minister Gladstone, would be the Prime Minister at the time. The original canon makes reference to the Prime Minister, but does not mention him by name. So it's more of a kind of general, just the Prime Minister at the time. But also, the canon was pretty cagey about referencing popular public officials in general, which made a lot of sense considering the time they were written. Subsequent novels were much more open about adding in historical figures. There's novels where he meets Jack the Ripper, Dracula, but also people like Oscar Wilde and the like. Gladstone's not a stretch to include in a game like this. At least the other point from chat is are there any other public domain characters that were used? Because we have Jack the Ripper, we have Arsène Lupin, and we have Cthulhu. And really, those were this arc was really Sherlock Holmes meets famous literary characters. That really was kind of the overarching theme for this, because Jack the Ripper is not connected to really much of either of these two games. That's why I was surprised to see more connectivity between this and Awakening. But generally speaking, no. This is the subsequent 3 games and the previous 2 games were much more kind of self-contained. I'm not going into too much detail. As I mentioned before, Testament's basically just an anthology of cases. So there's 6 cases. There's a little bit of a thread between them, but it's not too much. Crimes and Punishment does set up a particular set of events that do plotline wise pay off in Devil's Daughter. I won't go into more than that, but if I do play them, I'll probably play them back to back so you can kind of follow that arc. No, as far as this was kind of the only trilogy of games that really delved into any of the contemporaneous literary characters.
So, Holmes, what are we doing?
What are we doing? We're going in.
And you have no idea what's going on?
No, not in the slightest, but I do know that it's rather pleasant watching all these pretty young men in uniform. Our Inspector, you are quite the joker, you are going to jail, and everybody... Oh, hello, gentlemen. What can we do for you?
Wow. Wow, I'm not even sure what to say about that. First of all, it looks like it's this guy from the curator from the other museum. But that was fucking offensive, frankly.
Good day. My name is Sherlock Holmes, and this is Dr. Watson. Are you the museum's curator?
The guard.
Could you show me the Rosetta Stone as quickly as possible, please?
Of course. Follow me.
Hi, Divinity 57. I am doing as well as I can in circumstances.
You follow me with muffled steps in the hall, up the stairs, into my small room. That's where you get out your... Here, gentlemen, we have arrived. The Rosetta Stone. Did you know that it was taken from the French?
Only too well. There stands the honour of England that we must be prepared to defend, Watson. Let's find Lestrade. We'll need his men to help search the museum.
Okay, so we found the Rosetta Stone. It's here.
The famous Rosetta Stone. After Thomas Young's discovery, Champollion was able to fully decipher the great mystery of hieroglyphs. In fact, this text, a Ptolemaic decree from 196 BC, was inscribed in 3 languages: hieroglyphs, Demotics, a popular script at the time, and finally Greek.
Alright, so we need to find Lestrade. Is he here? He's not. Again, like we talked about with the museum, this is an actual location. So on the one hand, you get the kind of fun of being able to, apparently very slowly, walk around an actual location in London.
I have no reason to go there.
The downside is that because it's using actual floor plan, it is not... The level design logic has not been applied to it. So things that in the real world make a ton of sense are just irritating in video games to deal with. So, why are you so close? So that said, I mean, like I know, like the staircase I've seen before, right? These, I don't know if these specific busts have been there, but like this round building that actually exists at the British Museum. Although nowadays it's all covered over, so basically you have this round building, which I believe is the library, is inside of the larger building, because it's got a glass ceiling now. And right, so yes, this is the reading room, which is again a gorgeous, gorgeous place. And you know, you just go in and check out books and read them. It's genuinely cool. But Lestrade is not a reader, so we're not going to go there. That's the reading room we're at. Let's try the Egyptian Babylonian halls. There's all the coppers. Exhibition halls. It is for me kind of neat to act because I've been here before to say, oh yeah, I recognize that place. So again, I mean, there's the coolness of that, but also means that I mean the museum there's a little bit of flow. You want the patrons to be able to go around, and same with the other museums. So I mean, there's some of it that actually does work. Let's see some construction going on here. But the other piece is that, you know, again, it's so wide.
Nothing to report, Mr. Holmes.
I feel like I'm actually going to have to walk all this to find Lestrade. Gabriel Knight is actually a good composition. And I think the difference is, at least the first Gabriel Knight here, I found Lestrade. The first Gabriel Knight, it's 2D. So they can take real locations, but also slice them very specifically. So for example, without spoiling too much, there is a section of Gabriel Knight 1 where you're going through a graveyard in New Orleans, or Nautilus. And rather than walking through the entire graveyard, you're getting kind of just screenshots, so you go from one screen to the next, and so there's kind of a jump between those, like between panels to comic book. You know, just assume that you're walking between those places, and it's all irrelevant to the plot. So yeah, I do think that that's a little bit better in terms of how it's designed. But you know, as Jay points out, like one of these cool things about the Assassin's Creed franchise, that you can find popular ancient buildings and climb all over them. But again, the way that Assassin's Creed is structured, you're climbing on them. You're not really going inside of them. And also, there's lots of, because it's all a game about movement, you can quickly move around in that space. So they designed a movement game around, we're going to be in these interesting real world places. Even then, they still kind of collapse and distort distances a little bit to make it more interesting and compelling. This is a relatively authentic take down, and also it's a mystery game, so it's like I don't have to walk across this whole thing to get to Lestrade.
So, Lestrade, how are things coming along?
We have finished, and if I know one thing, it's that Arsène Lupin is not hidden in this museum. We gave everything, even the smallest nook, the once-over, 3 times. The men have doubled the watch outside. This place is protected like a fortress.
So, of course, it's going to be stolen. I mean, we know where this is going, right? Yes, the one's over 3 times.
Excellent. Arsène Lupin isn't inside, and we have made sure that he can't enter. Remember, Lestrade, no one is to breach the walls of the museum. No one.
Tell me, Holmes, 2 hours have passed and we still haven't eaten. Can we...
Certainly, Watson. Find something to restore yourself. Nothing for me.
Ask one of the men outside if there's anything left over from the mess, Watson.
Come, Inspector. Let's go over the plan one more time.
So this brings up another point. In case it hasn't been clear in previous videos, I am a massive Watson apologist. I believe Watson has been done wrong by various interpretations throughout the years, although I will concede that his more modern interpretations are more faithful and more beneficial to him. But one of the things that particularly comes out of the Basil Rathbone era is that Watson is fat and always eats. And you see a bit of it here is that in the canon and some pastiches, Watson will occasionally mention being hungry, getting food. The problem is that out of context, it seems like Watson cares about food a lot, or is food motivated. What's really happening is that Watson's bringing this stuff up to contrast the fact that Holmes doesn't eat very often, and in fact rarely eats when he's on a case. So in order to showcase this particular personality quirk of Holmes, you have to have someone who's, you know, a little more of a human being, I should say. Someone who eats at a regular schedule and can lose energy if they're not eating regularly. That's people. That's a normal person. So no, Watson's not a big old fatty. He's not someone who eats constantly. It's just that compared to Holmes, he seems like he eats more than Holmes does. But everybody does. When you do a lot of heroin, a lot of cocaine, you know, you don't need to eat too much. So. Alright. I'm sure this is fine. I actually have no idea what I'm supposed to be accomplishing here. There's no food here. I'll go back inside.
Good day, gentlemen. Inspector Lestrade pointed me your way to see if there was anything left to eat.
I'm afraid not. There's a bread bag near the portal over there. There might be a bun or two.
By the portal over there. It would have been nice if pointing animations or the camera zoom. Shit. Yeah, Watson's not an idiot. Part 2, Watson's not fat. Ain't that the truth?
I have no interest in going there.
I do. I don't care if you're not. Just I want to go there. Soap. Do you want some soap? We got some soap.
No interest whatsoever.
Just a nail sticking straight up. I'm sure that's safe. Red bag by the portal is up. Part of my request for bird people. Nice. Bring back the holy bread bag. Bring us the stale buns. Let me ask these guys. Yeah, I think it is the outside gate. Let me just double check.
Good day, gentlemen. Inspector Lestrade
No. The mess hall? No, I'm not authorised. No, not I.
Good day, gentlemen.
No. The mess hall?
Alright. where would this portal be?
I have no interest in going there.
Well, thank you for stopping me at least, game, as opposed to making me walk all the way over there. Is that the red bag?
Ah, it looks like the police's bread bag. It's a rubbish bag, not a bread bag.
Psst! Hey, Doctor!
Okay.
Psst!
But what are you doing there?
Word on the street is that something big is going down here. Is that true?
Yes. Well, no. Regardless, you must leave.
No chance. I want my scoop. You promised me. And the time has come to keep your word.
What do you want?
Sneak me in, and I'll take some pictures, on the sly, of course, and I'll have a screamer of a headline.
Out of the question. If one of the constables sees you in the museum, you'll be taken as their quarry, and I'll pay the price for having let you in.
Listen, Doctor, I've seen worse. Danger is part of my job. If I am caught, I won't mention your name. You owe me that much. The situation with the medal is almost sorted, and I'll be able to bring it to you tomorrow. You wouldn't rather have me turn up empty-handed and have to explain to the great detective how you've been sneaking around, would you?
I'm not even sure if I can. The museum is guarded like a fortress.
You'll manage, Doctor. The main thing is to find the key to open the confounded gate and get the guards out of the way for a few minutes. Good luck, Doctor. I'll be waiting.
Yeah, this guy's totally Lupin. He absolutely is Lupin. I just want to. I wish there's a way to go faster. Okay, is there a keyhole or something here? No. If this reporter is not Lupin, at least he's got to be in league with him or something. This is really obvious.
How are you?
All's well. Just doing my duty.
Before moving away from the police officers, I should try to look for the key to the portal.
Before moving away from the police officers, I should look for the key to the portal. Okay. Sorry, I was just looking it up because I felt like that clue was misleading, and I was correct. So you know how I was saying earlier that I'm a Watson apologist and that Watson's not really as dumb? This game is not helping me with my case. I'm gonna be honest. Especially in 1895, Watson's been down this road before. He knows people lie and manipulate at this point.
No interest whatsoever.
Why does it have an eye if there's no interest whatsoever? Okay. Place to put him. Go through all this stuff.
So, my friend, all seems well with you?
Goodness, yes. No more visitors, no more racket. At last I can take care of the filing that has been piling up.
Ah, all these treasures in the museum. A great responsibility to guarantee their security. By the way, are there several keys for the main entrance?
As I said to your colleague, Inspector Lemon or Lester, I can't recall, there is the one that I gave him, and there is the curator's.
Where is the museum curator?
He is on holidays in Scotland for the duration of the renovations, and as he's the only one who can open the strange lock on his strongbox, the key is perfectly secure.
Is one of the keys for the portal in the curator's office, then?
Yes, near the entrance. The architect is there at present.
I must go now. Until later, perhaps.
Okay. Well, oops. Too far. Guessing it's this one. It says director. I'm gonna guess this is a puzzle. Just saying. Strange lock. Here it is. Am I gonna get any kind of advice or suggestions? What? What? Okay, so I can turn it left to right. Okay. Wow. There we go. Every Wednesday morning, me, the Commonwealth Archaeologists, I take 2 magnesium pills from Dr. Bunny Frizzle to open Red Blue 15.
The museum director's reminder. Apparently he suffers from memory loss. He even jots down some sort of hieroglyphs.
Okay, so I think I'll try the 15 there, which means that we have 30, 30, 45, and 75. So red is this way, and blue is that way. So that's 0. That's 90. $10, 15, 20, 30. Okay. 30, 60, 90. Right? Okay. So that's 30 the other way. Oops, no. 15, 20, 25, 30. This is 45 red. And then that's 75 blue. 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75. No. Okay. Okay, I'm looking it up. Right click, turn the dial to 75. Okay, so I did them in the wrong order. That was a problem. Okay, so I need to that's 2 is third line below 0. Three is right click. So 0. 4th is second line below 0. Yep. Okay.
What are you doing there?
I was checking to see if the strongbox was locked.
More likely you were checking to see if it was damaged, weren't you? Well, I didn't touch it.
Calm down, young man. What has happened? You seem to be out of sorts.
You wouldn't understand. All this pressure, it's too much. We're 3 weeks behind schedule, and they are constantly threatening to fire me if any of my workmen cause even the slightest damage to any of the works preserved here. And you come in and send my team home and place police officers all over? If they knock over a statue or break a vase, I'll end up carrying the can for the lot.
Now, that's not true. The police are professionals. They will stay clear of the fragile objects, and the statues here are so heavy, there's no chance they will fall.
You are deceiving yourself. Look at the 2 lions at the entrance. The base of one of the 2 is crumbling so much that it will turn into dust at the slightest noise. And there are plenty like that here.
In any case, young man, you must stop tormenting yourself. No one will wrongly accuse you. Now I must get the police away from the entrance to sneak the journalist in.
I have a bad feeling about this. Why did they just show us this? There's a weird camera cut to this, and I don't know why. Whatever. Hey guys, found the pen.
How are you?
All's well. Just doing my duty.
Now I must get the police away from the entrance to sneak the journalist in.
You probably shouldn't say that out loud, Watson.
How are you?
All's well. Just doing my duty.
Now I must get the police away. How are you?
All's well. Just...
Oh, okay. Hold on. Maybe if I can get that hammer. I have the hammer. The door just isn't rendered or something. It's looking weird out in there.
No interest whatsoever.
Right.
No interest whatsoever.
The guards are definitely duplicates. Oh, right, okay. Yes. There's a reason why we had that conversation. Here are the lights. But they're out front. The lion's inside? Did I miss something? Are the lions here? Or the lions are outside? Or I'm thinking the New York Library, actually. The lions are outside. Give me a second. Oh, you know what? I actually now remember. Yes, that's why we had this cut to this. Right. Right. Now I get it.
This limestone pedestal is crippled by the humidity. A small knock by a blunt instrument and it will topple like a castle of cards.
Castle of Cards? Is not the House of Cards. What's up with this door? Why is it broken? now, we're gonna vandalize the museum. Let a guy in.
Before moving away from the police officers, I should try to look for the key to the portal.
What?
Before moving away from the police...
I have the key to the portal. Oh, hang on, maybe I had to do this in a certain order. Yes, Watson is about to commit vandalism to let a reporter break into the museum. This game, man. We've killed turtles, now we're gonna vandalize the museum. We've ruined paintings. Bloody key.
Find a way to get rid of the police, Doctor.
Okay, I gave him the key. Right. I'm not gonna want to pause the whole thing again.
It pains me to hurt this work of art,
Yeah, whatever.
but I have no other choice. Only an event of this magnitude can create a diversion.
No, not the lion! Oh, it's broken. What have we done?
It wasn't me.
Good God, what has happened?
It wasn't me.
I just arrived. The base must have caved in under the weight of the statue.
It wasn't me.
The statue can't stay on the ground. We must keep it up away from the humidity.
It wasn't me.
Find anyone in the museum to help lift it. I'll go outside to find reinforcements.
It wasn't me. It wasn't me.
What's that dance all about? I just want to go on record that I'm really not a fan of this.
What's all this racket?
A statue has collapsed in the entrance hall. We must quickly move it. Otherwise, the invoice will be sent to your unit. Come, give us a hand.
But we aren't allowed to leave our post.
In Afghanistan, I was shot, and I'm no longer able to exert myself with that arm. I will be of no use lifting. But I could keep an eye while you help your colleagues.
In that case...
The war wound. I don't know if we've covered this before, but in the canon, the reason why Watson was actually invalided out of Afghanistan was that he sustained a war wound in his leg or in his arm, depending on what the situation is. In two different stories, he gives two different locations for his war wound. This is a thing, and has been a thing for over 100 years. When you talk about the contradictions in the canon of Sherlock Holmes, inevitably they will go around to two big points, which is how many times is Watson married and where his location was war wound. One of my favorite explanations is that both are correct. And some people have argued that he has two different war wounds, he just refers to him as a war wound, but one person actually proposed that there is one shot that went through both the arm and the leg. And if you can imagine a position where you would have your arm over your leg, it basically implied he got shot while he was taking a shit, which I just love that theory because it explains all the facts and it's just still completely ridiculous. But to the larger point, yeah, Watson would have told Holmes at this point, honestly.
Well done, Doctor. You are obviously a man of his word, and resourceful also.
Hurry up and above all, stay hidden. The last thing I want is for you to be caught.
Ha! No one has succeeded in doing that yet. Until later, Doctor.
Yeah, Tyrion Lannister. Yeah, basically. Yeah. Okay. I'm just not feeling this story.
Ah, there you are, gentlemen. You can reclaim your post. Nothing happened. Smooth sailing.
Well, Watson, it would appear that you served as reinforcement to Lestrange's men. It's a pleasure to see that 2 sleepless nights haven't taken away your legendary spirit of enterprise. Well, gentlemen, we'll wait and wait some more.
I've tripled the manpower surrounding the building. My men have a carbide searchlight. No way of getting past it as long as it's a clear night. I have, moreover, locked all of the exits leading onto the hall where the Rosetta Stone is found and placed a man by each of the doors. 4 of my best men are locked inside and stationed directly in front of the stone. Knowing that it weighs almost 1,500 pounds, Lupin doesn't stand a chance.
We'll know soon enough.
Excuse me, Inspector, but I hope that your men won't forget to replace the iron bars in the room where they were. They shouldn't be left outside, as they don't like the humidity.
What are you saying, young man? I never gave the order to take any iron bars.
Listen, they were there 2 hours ago. Who would have taken them if not your men?
Leave it to me, Lestrade. Young man, you said some iron bars had disappeared. Can you show me where?
Follow me.
Infinite G, you mentioned that carbide searchlights are no joke. Have you had any experience with them? I mean, I've heard they are bright, but I have no direct experience with how bright they are. They run off by burning acetylene. Oh, wow. Okay, well, that'll do it.
Here's the spot.
Tell me, what can be made with iron bars?
Everything and anything.
Thanks. Thanks for the help.
Do you know if anything else is missing?
I don't know. I didn't take the time to look because I must prepare some plans.
Return to your work. For the time being, I'll see if anything else is missing, and I'll come find you if I need any further information. Watson, join Lestrade and keep a check on things.
As for me, I'll be in my the director's office if you need me.
Yeah, hey Watson, also while you're gone, don't let anybody in.
There was a pulley here.
There's a pulley there, yeah, sure. Remember that.
Some rolls of rope were there.
Soap missing.
A box of soap was recently removed.
Yeah, someone's making some kind of machine. Also, there's a hammer here. I wonder what happened to that. I'm still salty about this.
I was just saying that some things are missing. Would you have any idea what could be made with...
No idea. Let's see if anything else is missing.
Johannes salty about the anything and everything? Make me a burger with iron bars then. But, you know, fair. It was a dumb statement to make. Okay, that strike is being too bright. Yeah, I mean, this is... What other thing are we looking for? The soap lubricates the pulley, the rope pulls the pulley. This is not rocket surgery. Yeah, this is literally elementary. Yeah, this is basic physics. Maybe some building supplies missing.
A tarpaulin protected these materials, and it was removed.
I guess this ladder? I don't think I can. I could go up all the other ladders I saw. Again, this is the language of the game is not consistent. Ideally, there should be a little sign or something, so it's not safe, or a rope across it. Something to broadcast to me in the game world. First, this is not a ladder you can go up. But here we are.
The famous Rosetta Stone. It's an ancient Babylonian door.
I've actually seen that door too. It is huge. I don't think this game actually. Oh, it does do it justice, but I mean, this thing is gigantic.
This machine is strange. It must help to locate oneself in this immense library.
Really?
This machine is strange. It must help.
I wonder how it does that. Oh, I can go up these stairs. Hooray, consistency.
This machine is strange. It must.
I guess it's some kind of like early card catalog.
Da-dum-da-dum. Quite the business this, isn't it?
God, you're awful. There's apparently a shed somewhere around here that I seem to have missed. Oh, there it is.
The print from the bag that was found here is quite clear. The bag was recently removed.
You announced that Holmes being Holmes didn't notice someone breaking in the safe, breaking his statues, stealing a hammer, so on. Shouldn't he know by now that Watson stole his medal? Yes and no. Like, as Holmes himself would want to say is that data, I cannot make bricks without clay. He has no reason right now to believe that his medal's missing. He's been on a case. He's been focused on receiving the pen. He's not focused on where his belongings are. So on that front, I don't think he was noticed that. He may have noticed the hammer missing. He may have noticed the connection to the statue crumbling, but he may not have put together that Watson specifically is that. He may have. We may find out later that he actually knows it all. Holmes is written inconsistently. And this is a problem for some pastiche writers in particular, is that Holmes just knows everything, and there's no reason why he knows everything. Yet, canonically speaking, Holmes not only generally works from reasonable data, even if we, the reader, don't always have that data, but also separately, Holmes does make mistakes. There's at least 4 cases in the canon where he just straight up fails or is wrong. Out of 60, that's a pretty low percentage, but he's not universally good at this stuff. Sometimes he occasionally screws up. And also there are some cases where even if he ultimately gets the right answer at the end, he makes mistakes during the course of the case. So early 20th century Holmes was written to be more like a superhero, where his superpower is omniscience. And frankly, that is a very boring interpretation of the character. But at the time, it was a logical extrapolation from the material they already had. The much more modern interpretation of Holmes, he is much more fallible. BBC Sherlock is not great at this. Elementary is really good at this. The Robert Downey Jr. movies actually do a pretty good job of showing a fallible Holmes. So, I mean, you can find other versions of that. And my game just locked up. There we go.
Any news, Mr. Holmes?
I think I made the round of all the missing objects. Here I noted them on a piece of paper. Can you tell me now what could be made with this?
Hold on. I need to think for a moment.
It's quite thoughtful of them.
What's going on, Barn Cow?
The police are too kind. They took the time to remove the rubble that was in the hall.
However, they were given orders to not leave their post. Strange. I must look into that. Until later. Footprints, look. Hold on. The most recent footprints on the ground correspond exactly with those that I found in the National Gallery, in the soil from the pot. Those of Lupin.
Okay,
These footprints are size 9.
Oh, I think I found it, Mr. Holmes. Upon closer inspection, the soap doesn't seem to have anything to do with this. I think they mean to install a pulley on a tripod in order to reel up a load situated much lower, like in a mine, for example.
I admit I am struggling to believe that a master thief who goes through these extremely elaborate plans can't change his shoes. The only argument I have at the moment is that Arsene is specifically not doing that just to give Holmes clues, which would tie with my little knowledge of the character. He is the kind of person who actually feels he's so clever he wants to give investigators a hand, so it's not implausible that he's actually doing that. But I am worried that this was the writers' only way they could think of to say, Arsene Lupin was here because it's the same shoes.
What is the maximum weight of the load that we can raise?
Given the strength of the bars, it would all depend on the counterweight used. If, for example, we used one of the pedestals of the lions in front of the stairs, we could lift more than 2,000 pounds.
Holmes! Holmes! Come here! Quick!
It's Watson. We must get to him quickly.
Yeah, I wonder what happened. I'll walk it. Yeah, okay. It's a tarp.
Blasted door, I can never seem to open it. Oh, there it is.
Quick!
Blazes.
Damnation!
Oh, hey!
Outside, quickly. We can attempt to intercept him before he absconds.
Lupin, he's there.
What is he doing? He's surfing on the Rosetta Stone. What is happening?
My men are searching the area, but nothing yet. There's no sign of the stone, and even less of the man himself.
Saw where he went,
We've
Lestrade.
been trumped. And here I thought our security was perfect.
It was, Lestrade, it was. It was impossible for him to enter the museum unless we let him in ourselves.
What are you suggesting? None of my men would have.
It wasn't one of your men, Lestrade. They are all fine police officers. No, it would have been someone who was deceived by Lupin and let him in unwittingly. What do you think, Watson?
Ah, well, you must be right, Holmes, as usual.
Very well. I will have my men keep an eye on the watchman and the architect. Who knows if either of those two chaps is an accomplice of the diabolical Frenchman?
Do that, Lestrade. As for you, Watson, would you be so good as to examine the police who lost consciousness? They may have been injured in the scuffle.
Certainly.
There is a message written on Lupin's calling card. The game begins anew.
What is it that you should... Where is it that you should go? The beast at the entrance, no. Look for the dark, not the light. The one to the left will steer you right. This looks like the beast. There it is.
The Shedu. In Akkadian mythology, they were benevolent demons.
Maybe these are not the beasts.
The Shedu. In Akkadian mythology, they were benevolent demons.
I thought maybe these were beasts that were part of the question, but appeared not to be the case. Let's go this way. Sure, just leave all the doors open now. I mean, fuck it, already gone. You? No. Beast at the entrance now. Look for the dark, not the light. And one on the left, steer your right. Aha!
A new message. What now?
Moliere the poet was the greatest of the greats till along did come that Englishman we do hate. What you are now to do is to find his Vernace lovers too. For some reason I had trouble with that one.
I must find a connection to those Veronese lovers.
Shakespeare. Ah, good call, good call, good call. Wonder if we could use those machines.
This machine is strange.
Haha. Let me try.
I must have made a mistake. Time to think. I must have made a mistake.
Okay.
Time to think.
M-O-L-I-U-R-E. M-O-L-I-U-R-E.
I must have made a mistake. Time to think.
What is the one thing you're trying to think about here? Okay, so I have to talk to him first. Once again, get the two.
What is this sharp thingy? My God, what have you got in your head? I'll have to watch out for your bread if you stick it in my... So, Mr. Holmes, so many emotions tonight. Isn't that right?
At least you haven't lost your good humour.
Oh, you know, one lost pebble just makes room for one more.
Listen, I'm searching for a book having to do with the lovers of Verona.
You will certainly find it here in the reading room. There are plenty of love stories from Verona and elsewhere, maybe even something from London, for example, in a museum,
If I was looking for a book in this massive library, how would I go about doing it?
Look in one of the catalogues near the entrance. The catalogue will indicate in which part of the library, on which level, and which shelf, going left to right, the book is found. Good luck.
Thank you.
so.
I must have made a mistake. Time to think. I must have made a mistake. Time to think. I must have made a mistake. Time to think. Here's what I've been looking for.
Okay, G84. I'm gonna get G. Okay, so row 8 here. Shit. Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4.
There, Romeo and Juliet. Look, a piece of paper seems to be marking a page. There's something written on it.
Leading nowhere, I have seen a door of red copper or bronze from ages yore. You are within range of the way out. The next book, my friend, if you know how to count and how to look. The fourth band starting from the ground, you will count the men roaming around. The number found will be that of the page, on which you must read the first word I gauge. Now the seventh, counting from the top, take only the left and then stop. Count the legs of the animals that neigh, use it as you did the other, that's the way. The book that is used for reference will be found with a bit of chance. The product of the two numbers found gives you the page by Price's sound. Wow. Okay. You know where I've seen a door of red copper or bronze from ages yore. The fourth band starting from the ground. It's probably shells. You'll count the number of men roaming around. Okay. So I'm thinking this is the Babylonian Hall.
Thanks to this door, I should know which book to find next.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, I was gonna say that door, I know. Or, no, the super giant door. Right, yes, that one. Correct. Fourth man starting from the ground, you count the men roaming around. The number you found will be that of the page in which you must read the first word of each. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's an ancient Babylonian door.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41. That's a good point. If they're on horseback horse, you can count them.
It's an ancient Babylonian door.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32. I'm also writing it down too. I appreciate you guys putting it in chat, but I'm also going to write it down. Now the seventh, counting from the top, take one to the left, and then stop, count the legs of the animals at neigh, use the other, that's the way. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
It's an ancient Babylonian door.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Actually, let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 horses times 4 is 8. Why am I blanking on this? 36.
Thanks to this door, I should know which book to find next.
Let's go to back to the reading. Okay. Page which you must read the first word of gauge. Yeah, we've found with a bit of chance the product of the two numbers found give you the page. So 32 times 36 is... Haha! I have a powerful computer in my pocket. Exciting calculator action. This is why I stream Twitch, to watch me plug numbers into a phone. 1152.
I must have made a mistake. Time to think.
Okay. I'm gonna try that 41 number again, just to be sure. Times 36 equals 1476.
This is where the books dealing with the Empire's dominions are found.
So that is D14-7. Okay, so let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. So it's gonna be the third floor. D is this way. Actually, let me take these stairs here. So D14 7. D14 7 should be right around here. Ah, there we are.
Ah, here's the book I was looking for. Hindu Enchantment. Nothing special here.
From the other page, on page 41.
Nothing special here. Ah, this book is interesting.
Kali. The page in which you must read the first word I gauge. Okay, so it's Kali is the first word. And then the seventh, so that was 36.
Ah, this book is interesting.
Search.
I found the correct pages in the book. Now, what should I look for?
Kali search. Or search Kali, yeah. That might be a better way of doing it. Also, I want to kind of point out that not only did we let Lupin in to actually do this, but also Lupin had time to actually leave clues just everywhere. Just everywhere. What the hell? That's not good. No, there's not really a section right here. I think it's just this. So I must
Marble statue of Demeter.
Ah, okay, here we go.
A new message. What now?
We are three brothers exactly the same, but one of us has been altered in the game. Remove it if you please, but do not hurt us. The addition can be removed without much fuss. Three brothers.
A unique collection of precious ancient vases.
That's not it.
Curious piece. Impressive collection of artists' medals by Dacier. A koala.
A koala. Oh my gosh. It's a koala.
A stuffed penguin. Original.
It's an original penguin. Not those fake penguins you see all the time. I'm assuming with three very similar things. It's a petting zoo. Aha!
Here are the three brothers that the poem speaks of. Lupin is right. I mustn't destroy this piece, but there is a clue.
Why not? Watson just destroys stuff constantly.
A new message. What now?
Drink or be drunk. Treaty on wine jugs. Drink or run, you must choose.
All of this must surely have a connection with the books that are found in the reading room.
Oh my gosh. Drink or be drunk. E12-3. So 12 is going to be the top shelf of the second floor. E is going to be all the way around here. Three.
Drink and be drunk. Here's the book. One of the pages is dog-eared. It must be important. I'll copy it out.
This receptacle of over 3 feet high is adorned with geometric motifs suggestive of leaves and reeds. The handles, which were inappropriate for transportation, were very decorative and were sculpted into the shapes of necks and heads of geese resting on the sides of the basin. Not a doubt the artist imagined them as being the ancient guardians of the divine beverage that was destined to be decanted into this sumptuous receptacle, but also as sarcastic witnesses of the boorish behavior of the intoxicated guests. After a few ladles full, who knows what mockeries were imagined to be coming from their beaks.
It's curious what is written here.
It is curious what's written here. Because I think we saw that right here.
There is something here.
Behold another holding 2 monkeys as a man. From the nail on the left thumb starts the plan. Then 3 downward, you must alight. The next step is to get 5 to the right. To find the second, it won't take long. A brown picture, good for eating, will get it for a song. You'll see 2 young girls in an olive tree. Measure the width of this plate you'll see. First one by 100 minus the second by 10. It gives you the exact place where you'll find me then.
I must find something that resembles the description given in the poem.
Oof. Behold another holding 2 monkeys as a man. Yeah, seriously, puzzle lightning round. This is no joke. This is exhausting. Man.
Wonderful dishes.
A round picture good for eating will get your song. You'll see 2 young girls in an olive tree. Measure the width of this plate you'll see. Okay.
There, I measured it properly.
Diameter 52 centimeters.
Okay. And the first one is from the nail, the left thumb starts to plan, then 3 downward, you must align the next step to 5. That's not good. So I talked in the first episode about getting the most value out of your assets. In particular, if you are making a game like this with these huge, sprawling locations, you want to make sure people are spending time. There's a lot of
Sarcophagus of Hapmen, absent for the moment.
you want to make sure that people are getting a lot of value out of these kinds of games or this kind of environment. So I mean, I see the logic of having lots of puzzles here. You're crawling around the British Museum.
Column and chapter in the shape of a palm, red granite.
You want to kind of give people some use out of being in the space. So I see the logic. It doesn't make it any less irritating, and the argument could be made: make smaller spaces instead of facing people to go around in them.
Black granite statues of Sekhmet, Egyptian goddess of...
I'm sorry I'm cutting off these descriptions, but got a lot to go through. Ah, man,
A man holding 2 monkeys. Curious piece.
From the nail of the left thumb starts to plan, then 3 downward you must alight, and 5 to the right.
I will recopy all of that to better study it.
I definitely recognize the distinct cuneiform writing. I must decipher this text.
Oh my god. Okay, so that's the... Oh no. Oh no. It's a cipher. Okay, but that's fine. I know what the E is. So I'm actually pretty good at ciphers. Because usually if you see 3 letters with the E at the end, it's almost always the. And that gives you usually a good starting point. So where's that symbol at? Okay, it. That's probably it. Gives us I. That's probably they. It's most likely a Y. They something the something 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 it by the it's probably by. Let's try B for that. No, it's not a B. Get rid of it again. Let's try R. They something the something. Yeah, this is how actual languages work. You're right. This is how these things go. I think I'm pretty confident with the Y here. Should I buy my an M? No. It's this T next to that symbol. Okay, so let's just brute force it. Levi's, Psi, Y, Pi, Y, NY, MY, LY, KY, JY, GY, LY, DY, CY, BY. It's gotta be by. Maybe the T is wrong. Okay. Let me try something here. Okay, there we go. Okay. So, some of our assumptions are incorrect. Let me try. Let's try here. That's probably here. So, put the R back. Let's try that as the H. Still gives us, yeah, good redundancy. Second word, fourth line is an S. Second word, fourth line. I don't see an S now. May have already undone it. Did I? Second word, fifth line. 2, 3, 4, 5. I see what you're saying. There's an S there. Where's that symbol? Well, actually, like finding actual symbols is a little hard. See the? Where is it? So I kind of follow 5 symbols, but I'm not seeing it actually on here. Oh, there it is. Okay. So nothing breaks. We're off a third from left. Here, because that's either an I or an A. Yeah, okay, so that's true. We have some redundancy here. But I'm not sure. So let me try to pop this in, see if that I works. Here is something. Hiss? No, here I have an S. Hill. Here is. In, so that's probably, if that's not S, it's probably an N. I did say it was pretty good. I didn't say it was a tight launch. No, that's not right. Okay, so it's got to be a T. So I think our original supposition was correct. So okay. So, oh, okay, so it wasn't N. So then this has to be, or it wasn't Y, then it has to be N. Then something, something, it's not an I, it has to be an O. Here's the cross. Then something on the, on, okay, that's all lining up. That's true. That probably is an A. Someone said all. That's probably a D then. Then something the C and something on the and okay, that's probably an F. Forest on top. That's probably a P then. And on top of it all, here is Bly Hill and go. Then take. That's probably a K then. Where's there? To take the C and put, it's probably a U. There's the little 3 pointers. There it is. Then take the C and put it on the. Okay, so that K is. Rocks. Rocks. Yes, good point. That is a C. That helps if I click on the right one. And take the C and put it on the rocks and place the forest on top of it all. Here is something hill measure. Okay, so that's probably an M. Because we're doing a lot of measuring right now. Here is your Y. Okay, yep, cool. Honestly, trying to find it, this looks so similar. It's really hard to actually find these icons sometimes. There it is. Then take the C. Here we go. Did it give it to me? Oh, okay. Behind another holding two. Take the C. Okay, I see. Because they had you put it in here. Okay, that makes more sense. Thank you guys. I appreciate that. That was fun. And take the C and put it on the rocks and place the forest on top of it all. Here's your hill. Measure it and go on. Now, of the puzzles so far, actually, I did like that one the best.
Granite Naos of Ptolemy VIII, a shrine. the solar system. Impressive and ingenious. It's Richard I, King of England, better known as Richard the Lionheart. Colossal marble foot.
Oh, okay.
Here's what I've been looking for.
Yeah, it's a book title. C45. So 4 is on the bottom floor. 4, 3, 4, 5. I don't. Oh wait, I have to measure the hill. I actually forgotten, and I can't get back to the poem. Again, inconsistency. Okay, so let's.
There, I measured it properly.
17 centimeter 20. All of this must surely have a connection with the books that are found in the reading room.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So. First one by 100. So it's 1,720. Minus the second by 10, which is 520. Clear. Let's see. 1770 minus 520 equals 1250. 1250.
I must have made a mistake. Time to think.
Or right, no, yeah, right, it's 1200. I don't know why. I can't remember handwriting.
Elementary.
J98. Okay, it is 10 o'clock, and I have a feeling this is going to go on for a bit longer. So I'm going to write down J93 as the next thing. It's a nice, easy thing to remember. I've written it down. I've stuck it on my monitor. And I'm going to save this and call it a night. Because, boy howdy, this is a puzzle marathon. This is not a puzzle sprint. So, let me try to switch back to that. It is not working. Hang on. Ooh, I'm locked up again. There we go. Still kind of getting this setup all sorted out. Yeah, no, that was, I did mention this was the most puzzly of the Sherlock Holmes games. And we had a bit point where it wasn't clear it was that puzzly, but we're back into that. Yeah, let's dive into this. But as always, I always appreciate you guys hanging out. And we will do this again next week. I'll catch you guys later.